Hi guys, I'm just grabbing. Oh, there's the set I wanted. Sorry. There we go. Got him. No, you can't. Hold on, what's going on? Oh, there. Okay, sorry. And that light's too bright. Let's see, turn it down. That looks better. Looks better on my computer. Right there. There we go. So, somebody asked me how I kept all my little scraps. So I just keep them in one of these little long plastic things. Most of them fit in. And I just keep them there. And whenever I need to have something to test colors on or whatever, I can pull them out of here. So that's always handy to have. Let's see. I got some new paper. That's who it's by, Potent, Potentate. And these are like bookmark size. All right. And so it's 100% cotton. It's hot press, so that means there's not much toothage on it. And you get 12 sheets for $2.50 on Temu. So I got a couple of these pads, and I like them. I've been just playing with them. Is this the one I've been using? No, that's not the one I was using. So I was just drawing on them, different things, just practicing. And let's see, oh, there. Just practicing on it, and then I'll watercolor on it or whatever, just for fun. So I was taking these in my purse with me when we were at doctor's appointments and stuff, and I was waiting for Jeff. Meaden is who makes most of the who makes really good empty watercolor pan tins, and so, and they have watercolor too. They have others, but they were originally known for their watercolor tins. And then I do have their watercolors that they make. I haven't used them yet, but I'll have to do that this week. Get them all going. And then now they have 100% cotton watercolor pads. And this is a 7x5. And it's 140 pounds. This is the rough. So this one hasn't been pressed. It's just been pulled out of the vats. And this one was $6.29. And you get 20 sheets of 7x5, 140 pound. So that's a really good deal. So I'm kind of excited to try these since it's a new one. And then I don't know if I got a, it's not quite 10x10. It's like 9 point something by that. So I have been, and it's 100% cotton also. And I got it off Temu for $14.30. That's what it is now. I know I paid a little less. Oh, this is from Amazon. This is the one I got from Amazon. So it's 100% cotton. It's $14.30. It's 9.84 inches. So it's not quite 10 inches. So if you have a 10-inch square frame, you can float this in the middle and it would be perfect. So I got this one off Amazon, and I haven't painted on it yet, but I have a hummingbird. Let's see if I can get this to show up. There we go. Hey, that's better. So, and I did it really light. I've never really done a hummingbird, so I don't know how this will turn out. I have an idea. Let's see. And did I have and then I was playing around. All I had was my ink pen. So I inked out. These are, I call them eye roses, because you start out with a circle and then you just go to each side, and rotate down smaller and smaller. So I did this. I should have done it over this way a little bit more, so I could put something over here, but I may just put the words going around this way, or just a little something there. So I have that one. This one, I had this one I did. So this one, let me see here. Is it this one that brings you in? There we go. So this one, I use thicker and thinner micron pins. So this is probably a 0.4 or a 0.3. This is probably a 0.7. No bigger than a 7. So I just drew on it. Or I drew flowers on it. And then my idea was splattering these. Nothing serious. And then I got a moon-shaped stencil from Temu. You know, it was like $2 or $3. And so I traced it as best I could because they're made out of like very thin mylar or Yupo paper, that kind of consistency. So I traced it out as best I could, and I'm going to paint on that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, actually. I just wanted to see if it would work. And I don't know how long I'll be on tonight. Chat filter. How about we go to all messages? That'll be much better. And like I said, I don't know how long we'll be on tonight. I was sitting out in the front room with my husband, and my neck started getting tight, and it runs from my neck all the way down in between my shoulder blades. It's just stress. Not that I think it's just stress, but that's why I take muscle relaxants. Because it's stress. Let's see. Excuse my arm. These are yogurt glasses, and I love them to put water in because then you're not wasting as much water, especially if you're using it for your dirty water. I typically only use one thing of water. That's how I learned. We didn't use clean and dirty back when I was young. It's smart to do. And I try and do it sometimes. Oh, wow. This is a mountain scene I did. I don't know what I was going to do with that. Did I write on the back? No, I just wrote the information about what kind of paper it was on the back. It would be good if you pre-drew stuff like I do. If you would, sorry, I'm eating a Twizzler. If you would also write on the back what you are imagining to do. I may have used a reference photo for it, so I may have a picture of it in my phone somewhere, so I can look at that, but I don't know. So these are kind of my two favorite brushes right now. This is a size 7 Artify round. It's synthetic. These come in a package on Amazon of like 12 of them, and they're all rounds, I think. Oh, there may be one flat brush. So I like that. This is my Handover series 299 number 8. So this is what a number 8 looks like in theirs, and this is what a 7. So the 7 should be smaller. So that's what I have to use. I have this. Since the way I'm sitting here, I have my legs crossed on things. So if you haven't watercolored in a day or two like me, put your brush in and make sure your bristles are clean. Otherwise, you might be disappointed when you pick up your color. So I'm not sure. Let's see. How should I do this? I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know what my plan was. So I'm going down. I used a Sharpie. So hopefully, sometimes Sharpies run on cotton paper because the cotton paper doesn't absorb all the sharpiness or whatever. So I'm picking up a couple different greens. I should put it this way because that's a very brown green. And then, oh yeah, that's good because roses have pretty dark leaves. Most of the greens are one of the colors you can get tons and tons of. Well, you can get tons and tons of anything. But like, I always mix, even if I pull a green straight out of there. Oops, there's a hair on there. It's not a brush hair. It's a dog hair probably. So greens are easy. Like you could see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 greens, maybe 12. That one might be one too. But none of them are what I would say you put it in a true convenience color. You put it in and then put it on your page, because they're just not. They're usually too bright or too artificial looking. And if you are doing something that's not even semi-realistic, like mine isn't really realistic, but you know, I kind of match the colors where I go and that stuff. So I want my greens to kind of be maybe a little bit realistic. Like I know that roses have darker green petals, which is fine. I'm starting with a wet brush, obviously. My colors I didn't spray before. I just put them on. So those 2 leaves I put clear water on first, and then I put the paint on. This one right here will just show you the difference when you put the paint on a dry surface. So what I was doing before is called wet and wet. And what I'm doing now is called wet on dry. So the pigment stays more where I want it when you do it on wet and dry. It doesn't spread and you don't get uneven things. Now, what I'm doing now would be like damp on dry, or wet on damp, because it's not really wet like where I wetted them, because you saw how I put that down. That's not moving anywhere. If I come over here, all this pigment is just going to keep pushing out until it can't anymore, which is fine. That's the look lots of people like. That's how you would get the best gradients if you did it that way, so your pigments would separate for you, which is the thing right now. So that's what these leaves will look more like, that as they go on. And how I'm going to make it so it's cohesive is I just took my water and I'm just going to put a water drop, whatever you want to call it, in there. And that's going to push, as the water expands out, it's also going to push the pigment out. You can see that happening right here, right there. Let me focus you. There, see how the pigment's spreading there? I'll use there. See how the pigment's spreading right in there? That's doing that because I put a water drop here and a water drop there. So it's pushing the pigments out. So that's, oh, now we're fuzzy again. Sorry. So that's kind of the joy of, I'm going to move this in one closer so that you're not going to see all the paints, but you'll see a lot of them. That's what gives you the joy of that movement and of the pigments. And that's something you don't get in any other watercolor or any other medium. Gouache, you can sometimes get that in, because gouache is just an opaque version of watercolor. If you're using the watercolor version, they also have gouache that is acrylic. So not sure how I want to do my roses. I think I want to start, they're darker in the middle, of course. So, oh, but that's not a pretty color red. That's not fun. So I used water and I just put it on the middle. So to fix that, because I don't like that color red. I don't want that color rose. There. And you could see the pink push out the other pigment. So that's fine. And like, see, I have so much water puddled here that it flipped a little there, like that. That's fine, because as it starts to dry, I'm going to use water to get the pigment moving like that. And then that dark red doesn't matter so much. It gets lighter as it goes to the outside. Oops, the green. I forgot the green was what. That's okay too, because in reality, if the sun was coming this way, it would hit that and reflect up into the pinks and reds that are in there. Let's see. I don't have my cheat sheet here to tell me what pigments are what. Oh, that's a very bright pink. I don't think I want that on there. My mom always had very pretty roses. She had roses that she had propagated from from her mother, and then some of them she actually transplanted from their home. And we had pink ones and we had red ones. And my mom loved to have a rose floating in a little bowl, you know. She'd just get them. They were in front of our house growing up. So it's gotten darker going that way, which is fine with me. I don't care. As it dries, I'll add some more. Are all of them going to be red? So I think so today. That's kind of how I'm feeling. So I'm going to do this one. So I just put water down. Let's try this red. Reds are usually more, it's a dyeing pigment, so it will dye your paper. So even if you try and pull it off, it's not going to really come off because your paper will stay dyed. Not all reds do that, but that's just a generalization that you should just keep in mind, that if you're going to paint with red, you want to be very sure where you're putting it down, because it will stain your paper even if you try and pull it off with a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser or whatever. I guess they have. Dollar Tree has fake magic erasers now, or generic. So I kind of like the way that one's looking. So we're going to go up here to this one, and I'm also going to, I'll probably do that one and that one, that color. This one, let's make it a more pink. Wonder what color that is. Is that Indian red? I can't read it. I can't. This is more of an orange, I think. Let me see. Oh, no, that's maybe fire engine red. So I'm going to put that. Oh, see, I got outside where the water was right here. And that's not moving. And that's okay. It's not like I have to have it move. If you did want it to move and you didn't want like your strokes to show up, then you just add water to it. And look what that does. Just gives you what you want. That's one reason you have to practice. Oh, here you can see the pigment. That's called a bloom. I'm going to bring it up and focus for you guys, hopefully. So this right here is called a bloom, where the pigment blooms out. And in olden times, not really olden, but comparatively, watercolor masters would say that was done by a student who didn't know how to control his or her paper or his or her paint. Now me, I like the blossomings and I like all that. I think it gives a good feathering and a great gradation in your flower, and I really like that. So to me, it's okay. I think it just depends. And now, since so many people are learning, to watercolor for fun and stuff and not like as a profession, that is a lot more acceptable. So I've got 3 different colors going here, which I like, actually. Kind of digging it. Let's see. Let's get this one. This is a brighter red. And I have got to put some of it in here again. Then I'm going to go down here, and I did not put water down, which is okay. And you can see, you can't see, but see my water is very red. It's okay. And you can see I'm leaving white paper in there because that'll eventually work to my benefit as I go on with the painting. And I might fill it all in and I might not. I don't know yet exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, I already did that. Well, here. But we'll see as it goes on. You can always add white highlights. I would suggest using, if you want to paint them, I would suggest using a white ink. I don't think I have it over here. Doc Martin or PH Martin. I always call him Doc Martin. Sorry. I just use PH Martin bleed proof ink. And it comes in white. I was looking, I thought I had some up here in my watercolor merry-go-round. Nope. Oh, I have sea sponges though. We might play with those. It's just a bleed proof white ink. And so you can put it on and it won't move. But if you're using that, pick a brush and have that be the only brush you use for it, because it might ruin your brush, or if you don't get it clean fast enough, because it is permanent. And it will muddy up your colors if you don't, if they aren't dry when you put them on. And that may be what you want to do. If that's not what you want to happen, then it's getting hot in here. Then, okay. Oh, no problem, Cindy. Sorry I didn't make it to your auction. I was tired. Jeff was in bed for some of it, but tomorrow we have an appointment with since Wednesday you're still having it? That's horrible. I don't like stomach bugs. I don't like I'm not a throw upper, so I don't do that very often. Some people do. So, yep, we have an appointment tomorrow with the palliative care nurse that is oncologist. And then, that's better. And then Thursday we go back and see the oncologist for the results from the last couple tests they ran. And one was inconclusive. So it means it's not that type, probably not that type of cancer. And then the other one said no to it, the marker. So he has his good moments and bad. He's at least pretty much recovered from they called it a TIA, but liver cancer and some of the other cancers that are down there, pancreatic, that kind of stuff. I guess when you have them, they may throw clots. And so then it mimics a stroke or a TIA. So thankfully, he doesn't have a lot of residual from that, but he's extremely tired, almost to the point of like it's difficult for him just to talk. It takes too much effort. So he did drive today. We took the car 2 miles or 3 miles up the road because it had a flat tire and we had to get a new tire. So he drove up there and then he drove us back home. And then he's pretty much been in bed or resting since then, which is okay. My son was home yesterday and today, and then he went back. He had class Thursday, Friday, and then he bought a couch and it was delivered Saturday, and then he drove up Sunday, and he is back because he had class tonight. The place he's working for. Oh, I know. I saw you said it was going to be really short. I did not know why. And then I don't know what I started doing. And then I just didn't check again. And then my husband came down from upstairs and he's like, I think I'm going to bed now. And I looked at the clock because I thought it was early and it was 9:22. I'm like, oh, well, I think I'm going to art tonight, which I had planned on because I had made all these differing paper stuff. I've been doing that. I haven't really painted because I haven't. I've been just staying wherever he's at in the house. Hey, 710, how are you doing? That's Mr. Troy. Hey, if you have any auctions this week, let us know. Put them in the chat. Shall you? Stay inside the lines. Well, I kind of am tonight. I'll go outside of them in a few minutes. Have you been over to Kim's? She's back from Bess. I have not. I was going to, and then I got busy. Ooh, that's a little too purpley for us. Let's try this one. There we go. Oh, you have a festival going? All right. 710's in Arkansas too, Cindy. Cindy's in Arkansas. I think she's very far. She's kind of east and south in Arkansas. She's back. Yeah, I think she's back tonight too. I couldn't remember. If they're still on when I get done, I'm only going to last a few minutes more probably. It's been a rough week. It was a rough week last week. So my daughter, we celebrated my granddaughter's 11th birthday on Sunday. We had cheesecake and open presents. So, that was fun. She stayed off her phone while we did it. That was a miracle. Kids. Actually, most of the time, if she actually likes to do other stuff besides her phone, but she plays on the tablets too. So, no, you're in Western. Okay, you're near the Oklahoma border. I had you flipped. Okay. I had you flipped, Cindy. Oh, you're near the Mississippi River. Cool. Have you ever been out on one of the river boats? I always wanted to do that. They look cool to me with their big wheel paddle things. I don't know. I read a lot of Mark Twain when I was growing up. And I read some of his weird stuff because my mom was a teacher. And so we didn't just get to read his, Huckleberry Finn and stuff. We read some of his more esoteric things at our house. Cindy, so if you're down near Oklahoma, then you're not too far from, I was born in Parsons, Kansas, which is right near the Oklahoma border and close to Arkansas, or Missouri, close to Missouri, Arkansas. I don't know which one it was down there. It's almost on the border. Oh, your water's too low? Mount Magazine? Is that really what it's called? Mount Magazine? That's funny. So I've got a lot of pigment, on this. So I'm going to pull some of it outside the lines. I don't know how much I'll pull out, or if I don't have a lot of green pigment on here, I should say. I have a lot of red pigment there. I added some green. Like I said, I was just fiddling with this, doing that easy style rose, which if you look, I'm not very good at them. Roses, I don't do very well. Any flower I like, I don't do very well. Roses are not my favorite. Daisies and tulips and sunflowers and black-eyed Susans, not lazy Susans. Black-eyed Susans are those are my kind of, I like more of the wildflower look. And Jeff always buys me, when he buys me roses, he'll come home with some weird color of them. Lots of times like a peach or a yellow or something a little strange. He always, because he likes them. So I never know what ones he's going to bring home. It was funny. He was getting, I don't know, he was doing some test and the lady said, said something about buying me flowers. Think about when you bought her flowers or something. He's like, I haven't bought you enough flowers. And I'm like, we were too poor when we were young and I wanted flowers. Now I don't. I love having them, but I get kind of depressed because they just die. That's not really looking like I wanted it to anyway. I guess it's a good thing this is just practice. That's why you practice. I wanted it more fluffy looking. Oh, Magazine Mountain National State Park. So why do they call it magazine? Is it like a magazine that you read, or is it like gun magazines, that you load up to shoot, or what? Or was the person who discovered it, his last name Magazine? I don't know. She's like, oh, I should have never said anything. She's going to ask me the history of Arkansas now. It's just the name. You little researcher, you didn't research that? Where we're living now, we've been here 6 years. You were in Pittsburgh last week. So where we live north of Denver in a suburb, and we live directly south of, exactly, like you could put a stick pin in and draw a straight line to where we lived for 18 years while we lived in Colorado, and then the last 6 have been here. Something like that. No, I can't be that many because we've only been, we've been here 22 years, maybe 23 years. We moved here, or 24. We moved here in 99. We moved to Colorado the 2 days after my husband graduated from college. We were ready to go. We were ready to leave Kansas. A football game. Oh, cool. My dad's, one of his best friends, his brother, Dan's brother, was the what is it called? The sports director, the guy that's in charge of all the sports and stuff at a college. He was that for the Razorbacks. What was his name? Lynn? Something like that. Yeah, I know. Yes. Your mountains are very little compared to ours. Yeah, I don't know what the elevation of your mountain is, but like we currently live just under a mile high. So we're at 52.80 a mile, and we're at like 54.89 or something where we live now. And where we lived before, south, we were at 50. We were almost at 5,700 feet up. So where it's flat everywhere. Flat swamp part of Arkansas. Well, and I always said it was too. Oh, that's too purpley. Kansas is flat, but actually we have a lot of rolling hills in Kansas. That doesn't mean it's fun to drive through or anything. It's just that we do have rolling hills. So we don't really have any swamps. Oh, you live down at the delta of the river. Cool. Well, I like water, so I don't think I'd mind living on a river, and I don't think I'd mind living on a lake. My uncle and aunt lived off of Lake Erie. They lived in Minnesota. Minnesota. And they lived right close to it, like like not even a block away. And I would love to live like that. We just don't really have lakes in Colorado. I mean, they call them lakes, but in Kansas, where I grew up, a lake, you couldn't see to the other side. If you saw to the other side of a body of water, it was a pond or a creek or whatever. So, Stuttgart. That sounds like a German name. A lot of Germans settled in Kansas. That's Jeff's family on both sides is German. Oh no, that's horrible. I'm sorry. So, from a distance where you guys are looking at it, so you're about a foot from me, and I brought the camera down a little, so maybe you're like 8 inches from it now. On the camera, I'm just adding color on top of color, and it's just different color reds, and I'm just making little humps around it, just to add more of what looks like petals. Towards the center, they're more dense, and you can't really see any of them. And then as you get out further, they get bigger. And I won't leave it this way. Well, I might. Who knows? I may just be done with it when I'm done with it. What are you doing, Bear? But I may not. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how things are going. With Jeff being sick and stuff, I just don't know. We have 2 appointments this week, which may lead to 2 more. I don't know. Just play it by ear. Let's see. I learned how to start the lawnmower because I couldn't get it started. I didn't push the choke. The thing I thought was the choke was not the choke. He was laughing at me. So I did that. I changed. Our water here is really hard, so we use a water service, and they bring those big water bottles in. And Jeff always changed them before, and so bending over is not. Oh. There were a couple towns in Kansas that you didn't want to go to because they had feed lots where they made dog food. You didn't want to go to Topeka to the north side because it stunk. It smelled like dog food. You always closed your car's air up, turned it on recycle. I don't know if they still make dog food in Topeka anymore. There was another town that close to us, and I don't think maybe it had a pig farm there. I don't know, but it stunk to go there. You never wanted to go to those meets. Usually they had them for all the lower. You wanted to be up on Varsity by then because you didn't want to go because it smelled. I can't remember what city that was. It was around Topeka. Paper mills always stink. I did not know that. So your fish fries there are catfish fries like we have in Kansas? Oh, yes. Yes. I get ya. Yes. The bigger feedlots and such like that are out in the west side of Kansas, up towards Nebraska usually, so up north. One of the people that did one of Jeff's things, so apparently whatever type of cancer they decide to call it, in his abdomen, it produces a lot of fluid, and that's causing him a lot of discomfort. So they'll drain it off. It's like poking a balloon, only they take out the fluid. And so we went in to have that done Thursday, and she was from Russell, Kansas, which is where Bob Dole was when he was alive, president. Then he ran for presidency. He's the one that always had the pen in his hand. He held it like this because he was a war vet and he had been hurt. So he was from Russell, and that's where she grew up. But there's feedlots there and stuff. The silos stink here if you get around them, because the grain gets gross smelling. So now I'm kind of liking, see how the edge of the water kind of ran out like that? I'm kind of liking how it look. I'm not really, this will be one that I take a picture of and use the picture like a scan and put it into my iPad program called Procreate. And then I will probably do some Procreate stuff to it, you know, change the background colors and such. Okay, my water's too red to do this now. So I do have another thing of water that I brought back here that's perfectly clear. So I'm going to use that because I want clear water out here. I don't want red water. The dope from Hope. I never heard that one. I'm sure there's plenty from around you that I hadn't heard about from you. Yeah, somebody was selling, maybe on one of the Friday nights, they were selling stuff, and they had an old coloring book or something that was of the Clintons. It was funny. Maybe that was Beth. I'm not sure who it was that was selling that, but yeah, it was a funny, you know, I'm sure it'll be a collector's edition someday, but it was funny. Catfish, shrimp, frog legs, and chicken. Okay, I've never had frog. What was it? Oh, we had, my daughter likes crawdads from like Louisiana kind of fish, crawdads, and doing stuff like that, gumbo and things like that. I don't know why she knows how to do that. Oh, I do know why she, because when her husband was at Fort Lejeune, Camp Lejeune, whatever it's called now, one of the people in his battalion, his group, whatever it was, he was in the Navy, so I don't know what it's called, but he, him and his wife were from Louisiana, down in the swamps. Like they were from the bayou or whatever. So Jacqueline learned to cook that stuff really good. I still have not tried crawdad. I'm not really sure I can. I used to catch them when I was a kid all the time. I'm just not sure I could really eat them. But I do eat shrimp, so, and I don't eat lobster, so I'll eat some fresh crab if it's available. They haven't lost all the crab like they did last year. Ditch lobster. Tastes like chicken. Yep, we had a pond next door to us for many years when I was little, and we would catch the crawdads. And then I guess it got too much of an insurance thing. So the people that owned it owned the apartments that were behind it, and they got rid of it. They filled it in. So we'd have to go across the street to the woods and catch them over there, which we did. It didn't really stop us. They just took away our ice skating rink. And then some of my really good friends had a farm, and so we'd catch them out on their farm too. We did not eat them though. But we did drink goat's milk and make goat milk cheese when I was a kid out there. I always thought it was cool, but now I know we did it because they were very poor. I didn't realize that at the time. Crawfish fried. I don't know if I've ever heard of that either. I like my shrimp fried. Don't you just suck the crawdads out? You do that and then you suck them out. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Shows I'm so educated. I don't know. Okay. I'm tired. So since Jeff got home from the hospital Tuesday, I've been going to bed pretty close to when he does at night if he stayed up. I think he's already upstairs in bed now, but so now I'm not used to staying up because I get up in the morning. Although the last 2 mornings he did let me sleep. I didn't take the dogs out at 6:30. He did. I'm glad he is not. He wasn't able to walk because he had so much extra fluid on him. It was causing a lot of balance problems for him. That ends too abrupt there. So. Yeah, he got put on an aspirin a day, baby aspirin a day, and a low dose of Lipitor or something, I don't remember, to keep him from having any more blood clots. Ew, it looks really orange on there. I'm sorry, because it's really red. Oh, it looks really orange on my iPad, but on my computer screen over there, it looks more true to color. It really just looks. Oh, okay. It's peel them and fry them, huh? So it's the heads they suck. Gross. Not that. No. I don't think I could do that. I guess you just call me a spoiled city girl. I don't think I could do that. Oh, okay. It's funny. I've had ulcers since I was in high school. Well, since I was in junior high, and spicy foods don't really bother me. Never have. I feel very lucky that I never have. And then after my weight loss surgery, they said that I might not be able to eat spicy foods, but I haven't had any problem. If we go out to a Mexican place, I'll have a couple chips with queso on it, and then I'm full. Or at home, I make I take chips that are protein approved or whatever, and then I put chicken and cheese and salsa on it, and I haven't had any problems with that. Sometimes olives and avocados if I have them around. Jeff doesn't like avocados though, so if I get one, I have to be in the mood to eat it because, they don't stay ripe very long. Although my friend found a thing that keeps the avocado fairly ripe if you only do one half of it. Hi, Bear. So, can you quit snorting on stuff? I let them boil in the spicy stuff, then I fry them. But not hot, yeah. We had some was it yesterday? Oh yeah, because I picked up the kids, Jacqueline and Jeff and my granddaughter Hartley, and then Jacqueline had some suggestions. She works at the hospital, and she had some suggestions for some stuff going on with him. So we had to go get the Imodium and some other stuff. And so we had grocery store sushi. So I always eat, the imitation crab. It's like a California roll or something, spicy crab roll or whatever. And it has, a cucumber, an imitation piece of crab, an avocado. I think there's one more thing in there, but I can't remember. Maybe cucumber. And it's wrapped in rice or seaweed and then rice. And then on top of it, they put the mayo that has whatever spicy sauce in it. It's like sriracha. So they put the spicy on there, mayo on there, and then they put fried onions on it. So, it's just an really Americanized thing. But we had that. And that spice is so different than like Mexican spice because it doesn't burn in the same spice. Oh, no, I don't do raw either. It's cooked. It's like I said, it's an American. It's just imitation crab meat. This girl don't eat nothing that ain't cooked. No. I don't like the texture of it. I did not grow up eating it. So yeah, it's just grocery store sushi. My husband doesn't even want that. He's like, no, there's a chance there might be something in there that isn't cooked. I like, you can see everything in there. I actually prefer, if I'm going to eat Asian food, I'd rather eat Mongolian or Korean barbecue. Love that. Love, love, love. I've always been a protein girl, though. We had, his name was Hudson. Their last name was Hudson. And they lived on a hill outside of Topeka, going to the west. And so every time we get to that point, we'd know it was 10 minutes to our house. And so we'd all look for Old Man Hudson's house. And my dad and mom kind of knew him from social things or whatever. And he was a cattle rancher. But beef prices went down, I don't know, in the late 70s or 80s, whatever. And so he went to catfish farming. So he had huge barns where they kept the catfish in, but then they had the overflow tanks outside. But they, they're like sterilized or whatever. So he just, the outside ones weren't, maybe they were the breeders or I don't know. My dad said they never used those for the actual food if they didn't have to. So whatever. So we would go by Old Man Hudson's house and see if the barn had, so it looked like a steel pole barn, it was long and skinny and it was all made out of steel. It looked like from the highway, and it opened, the roof opened like shutters. So you could see if they had the roofs open or not. It was always a game. So that was what we did driving home on I-70 from, my mom's, well, both my parents' families lived out in western Kansas and north Kansas. And so we'd use I-70 and then turn off. But that's what we would do. We were always thankful to see his house. I was never a big catfish fan, though. If it's fried, it's okay. I like to fish, especially at my grandpa's house, because you could walk to the lake that they had outside his little town. And when I say little town, there was like 200 people that lived there. Maybe not even that many. There was definitely no more than 1,000. And I'm pretty sure by the time I was in high school, there was less than 500 still in Waterville. But you could walk to the lake and go fishing. And you could fish off the side or out on, there was like a dock thing you could walk out on. But only if my older cousin was with us, because we might drown. But I never caught anything but bluegill. I just had to throw them back. No, that's a bluegill. Can't eat that. So that's why I don't like fishing anymore, because I always caught the bluegills. Oh, crappie is your family's favorite? Okay, I did occasionally catch a crappie, but it wasn't big enough to take and eat. I was always so disappointed. But yeah, you can catch lots of crappie in Kansas. Lots of crappie. That is not how they fish here in Colorado. They do fly fishing here for the most part. I was like, what are you guys doing? That's not how you fish. Not at all how you fish. So yeah, they have trout ponds and stuff you could go up and fish in here because there's so many transplants from all over the country that like to fish the old way. So yeah, you could do that. So it kind of looks like a plate now, obviously because it's round, but because I moved the colors all out. So in the 70s, it was very popular for, and I don't know how popular it was before then, but in the 70s, it was very popular for ladies to paint porcelain paints, and they would paint flowers or roses, or some of them would do pastoral scenes of, hills and such. Thus why it's called pastoral. Lots of times it's idyllic kind of life. What we like to idealize is pastoral art. But that's kind of what this reminds me of. Oops, that went out into that one out there. This ain't a plate. Nope, not tonight. I haven't ever. Oh, yeah, I did make a plate one time, I guess, in ceramics. But most of the time in ceramics, you make cups or bowls. I do have a couple of vases. I don't think I have any of that in here. Oh, I have one way up there that I made. My dad had it at his house before he died, and I kept it. I also kept in wood shop. His birthday is April 15th, so I was taking industrial arts, and we were doing the wood shopping thing. And so my dad taught me, my dad loved horses, and my dad taught me, and I do too, but my dad taught me how to draw horses. That was the first thing I learned to draw. And so I made him out of like a piece of cherry or something. It's some expensive wood. I saved up my lunch money for a week to pay for it. So it was a surprise for him. And then I bought that, it's like this size wood, like maybe a foot. I don't know. It's not very big. And I made him a unicorn. What the hell did I make him a unicorn for? One, I was never a fan of unicorns when I was a kid. Not something I was into. Two, my dad didn't care about unicorns, but that's what I made him. And he kept that thing. Bear, stop it. Get out of there. Yeah, you just destroyed everything. Ugh. Anyone want a dog? I got one for you. So he kept that. It was on top of his dresser from the time I was in 7th grade until he passed away, 6 years ago? So I was, 45, 47, something like that. And so I kept it because I was like, oh, I can't get rid of that. Dad kept it. It must have been special. It's like the elephant that I made in 1st grade that has no horn or ears anymore because they broke off. But my mom kept it. And then my daughter made, hers looks like it is a dinosaur, but she made one. So my mom had both of those. So I have both of those in here too. It's utterly ridiculous. I guess it's like me keeping my son made me an art piece. Like my kids hated art. So my son made one, and they had to tell the story of, what was it? He had to tell the story of Thanksgiving, and they had to draw it. So he drew it. He drew an Indian, I think it was an Indian, shooting an arrow, and you could see the arrows, like it was like in slow motion. And then there was a turkey here, and it says, shoot a turkey, eat Tom. something like that. Tom's dead or something. So I have that framed. And then because my children are so creative, he had to make a Mother's Day card, and he made it again with Tom dying. Tom the turkey's dead in my Mother's Day card too. It was hysterical. But I've kept that. We just thought it was funny. So he keeps a running joke about Tom the turkey in our family. So yes. So now I'm putting a glaze over it, hoping that, it might salvage this painting. Not really sure it will. So okay. Not everything you do has to turn out beautiful. And actually, this paper didn't start warping until I, basically dunked it in water, which is pretty good. So I'd say this cheap paper from Amazon, well, it wasn't really that cheap because I told you it was like $15, but for 100% watercolor, and it's basically a 10 by 10 pad, which I can't find. Oh, I put it down here. 10 by, yeah, because it's 9.84 circumference. So basically 10 by 10, and you get 20 sheets of 100% cotton cold press for $14.30. It's really not that bad. And if I had done it like you're supposed to, because it comes in a block, so they're all glued together, and they leave you a space to stick a palette knife or a butter knife under it, and then you pull it off. The reason they do it that way is so that when you paint on it, it doesn't warp. See, this is warped. Yeah, there you can kind of see it's warped. But so it wouldn't have. And now like this. So there are people that will iron, not when it's wet. They let it dry at least 24 hours, and then they will iron it, put like a tea towel over it, and then iron it without steam and flatten out their things. I tend to let it dry overnight, and then the next day I put it under a bunch of books. Heavy ones, like my parents had a huge dictionary, that was like that thick. It was a Webster's one, and so I stick everything under that. Now I just use a stack of books, of art books that are like that each too. So that's how you can flatten it if you're concerned about that. If you're not concerned, when you put it in the glass frame say I was going to frame this and it turned out good, I get a 10 by 10 glass frame or a 12 by 12 glass frame, and they're floating frames. So it's glass on the front and glass on the back, and it sandwiches them. So it would sandwich it, and that would flatten it out also. So it isn't like mandatory that you have it totally flat. The other thing you can do is you can get pieces of wood that they're called wood cradles, or I've never seen them in a round, but it would be like a pizza pan, and you would glue this down on it, and then you would spray it with protective UV protection and water protection, and then you could sell it that way or hang it in a gallery or on your walls that way too. So it's not too bad. I hope so, Cindy. I know. I hate that you're sick. Hopefully you need to drink not water or tea. You need to drink Gatorade, girlfriend. Make sure your electrolytes stay up and you drink. So yeah, I hope you feel better too, because it's so fun to be sick. I have a UTI right now. I don't like that. Apparently, I waited too long to go to the doctor last Friday. I got a lecture. But with everything else going on, I was busy doing other stuff. And then I went to the clinic because I couldn't get into my doctor, and it still took like 4 hours. I waited 2 hours and peed in a cup, then waited about 2 hours more to have them say, yep, you have a UTI, here's the antibiotics. It's so annoying. So hopefully you're better. Maybe you could art tomorrow online. I might go on because it's really the only time I relax is when I'm doing this. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to clean more because people will be coming in our house. So that's it. I don't have my schedule put up for the next couple of weeks, just because I don't know. So you'll just have to look the night. I'm gonna try and always be here on Monday nights, but I can't. Like last week, Jeff was in the hospital, so I couldn't really do it because I didn't get home till 10:30 from the hospital last week, and I was way too tired. Well, yes, that's good. Definitely. So I really appreciate you guys for coming in and all of you who are watching. I appreciate every one of you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. It's the first week of October, my birthday month. And so it's usually a good month. So if you're bored and you want to put something down in the comments after the live goes up, you can tell me if you're going to dress up for Halloween or not and what you're going to be. And then next week, I'll let you know if I'm going to dress up for Halloween and what I might be. Oh, good. That's good too. Definitely use those. You don't want to get dehydrated. I appreciate you guys all, like I said, and do have a great week. And put a comment after this goes up. I'd appreciate it. And if you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. I would love that.